Hi, Cancer. Welcome to March. So what's going on for you right now? They're saying you're not really putting a lot of love into some of the things that you're doing. And part of the reason is it's a Mercury retrograde. So you're looking at your past and you're like, oh my gosh, are these things going to flare up again? Are they going to become issues or problems in my life again? What is it that I can do differently maybe to kind of keep that shit in the past? So what is kind of tainting any feelings of happiness that you might have right now? And they're saying well, the fact that you're not being forthright, that you're not kind of being assertive and going out of your way to communicate things that you have to, that are deeply focused, emotionally, how you're feeling, you might not be expressing that to other people. And okay, so that makes sense. Obviously, if you are upset with somebody, is it going to bring you joy or happiness to share that? Probably not. But why is this, why is it that this is kind of the reverse energy where actually sharing how you're feeling is going to increase your level of happiness? And they say, well, because by stuffing it, you're creating an emotional imbalance for yourself that is longer sustained over the month of March, over time. And so they're saying, if you were just able to do this, different opportunities are going to come through for you. And this could be by way of a new job opportunity. This could be a physical gift from somebody. This could even be winning money at a casino or something like that. They're saying, but these kind of blessings don't come through unless you speak your truth. Now, why is that? They're saying because it's somewhat liberating and joyful to just get stuff off your chest. And also it's about creating a space. So let's say that you're going through the airport with a suitcase of all of your baggage and stuff feelings in your subconscious, okay? And then, but you have to book it to your connecting flight. And so as you're dragging your suitcase through the airport, you're slowed down because it's heavy. But as soon as you start throwing stuff out of it, you start speaking your truth, even though it's hard and it's sad, and that's why we suppressed it in the first place. The sooner we do that, the lighter our suitcase becomes, and then we can make it to our connecting flight on time. But you're not going to make it to this opportunity, to this gift or reward. It's a tangible thing. It's something of value in the physical world. You're not going to make it there unless you can start throwing shit out of your suitcase so that you can put more, better, new things in there. Does that make sense? You can't just keep putting, eventually the more shit that you put in there, you're not going to be able to zip it shut. That's the point. So you have to throw things out, create a space for new wonderful things to come through. Okay. So what do you think is going to make you happy? And they're saying something different. Something, and it's not by way of another person. It's not somebody else's generosity, just something different in your life. A new way of thinking, a new thought, something new, a new friend, a different way to communicate with people. That's what you think is going to make you happy. So how is your perception true? And they're saying that, something should be easy. It would be a message just coming to you that, you don't really have to work hard to obtain. It's not you going out to find something. And, I think these messages do come through for you this month. And it does create this energy of happiness and fun and stability by the time that we get to the end of March, and joy with another person. So this could be somebody reaching out to you with words of kindness, or maybe it's somebody asks you out and it's a really good match for you, kind of a thing. How is your perception false though? And they say, well, if you don't shift your perspective on, clearing space in your life and having conversations that are difficult or hard, you're going to drive yourself bonkers. You're going to really feel this Pisces energy of back and forthness, where it's you start going one direction, you're nope, and you go the other way, and you're going to feel all over the place. And so that's kind of important for you. And so when it comes to relationships, it might be hey, you're all right. I just don't really love you. And we've been hanging out for 6 months. And it's you're pretty perfect, but I'm just not feeling it. And I don't know why. And it's nothing you did, but I can't force myself to love you. Gotta cut you loose. Having a conversation like that sucks. It's hard, and maybe you want to give it more time to, kind of work itself out, to see if maybe you develop feelings for them. But if you don't chuck them to the side, how can you expect a new relationship to come through? Especially if you say, I'm not a cheater, I'm a loyal, faithful person, then that's not in alignment with who you are, and therefore it can't happen. Make sense? Okay, so what will actually make you the most happy this month? And they say having fun, joy, celebrations, maybe even a little bit of drinking. They say like the details of this are going to be like non-specific because every single Cancer is different what you enjoy, but whatever you think is the most like fun way to celebrate or experience, time with your friends is going to be the best thing for you. You definitely need to get out of the house. This is not a month where you stay in, and you might say this is a month where I stay in because Mercury retrograde and I'm always going to be late and, whatever, lose my wallet. But it is a time for you to be spending a lot of time outside. Okay. Forces that are at play outside of your control. And so they're saying that you might not be because you have become recently a person who is a little bit more open to receiving blessings, that is also going to require you to make some decisions. And so in order to make those decisions in favor of your happiness, they're like, okay, let's think about what isn't fair and what I don't want for the long term. Like if I see something that is unjust, I'm going to make a decision about that it's not fair for me. Okay. I'm going to speak up even though it's hard. And I'm going to do that right now. But then also okay, so, for example, in the context of that relationship that I mentioned previous, if I think this is good now, but if I can't see myself with you in the long term, I'm just going to cut you loose now so that I can create a space for that long-term person to come through. Does that make sense? So, what kind of circumstances outside of your control can kind of be a detriment to your happiness this month? And they say, people not being assertive enough with you either. And that's also unfair. So it might be on you to be like, hey, bitch, I can tell that you're holding something back. What is it? I can see that you have something you need to say because you've been acting real weird. What is it? And then, also kind of saying like, I'm going to hold on to something that isn't good for me long term, that I don't want long term. It's time to just ditch it. Even if this is a job, right? It's like, oh, well, I don't want to leave this job until I have a new one. Then start looking for a new one. And I know we shouldn't start new things in a Mercury retrograde, but if this is, maybe you started looking for a job prior to the retrograde starting, then it's not a new task that you're embarking upon. It's just one that you're continuing, that you're picking back up in a retrograde. Does that make sense? Okay. So, what's going to bring you luck this month? So your lucky day of the month is the 22nd. And then your crystal of the month is sodalite. So in raw form, this is what it looks like. Okay. And in tumbled form, this is what it looks like. Okay. So sodalite correlates to the throat chakra. It does so many magical things, so I'm just going to mention a few of them, but you could look this up on my website if you wanted more information. Also, I have both raw and tumbled ones there, and so you can get one from your local rock store or whoever you like to get your gems from, but if you get them from me, they come with a printout that says like, hey, here's all the angels that correlate to this, and here's how you care for this stone, and then also a video playlist of different ways you can use your crystal. So anyway, general things that the sodalites do. So this helps you be of good service to other people. So if you work in a service industry, this would be helpful, especially if you're hoping to make more tips or something like that. It helps you to break addictive patterns and cycles. This helps you to be more courageous, more humble, increases your psychic awareness. It kind of helps you. It's sort of a protection stone, which usually those are red or black, but this one also serves as a protective stone. It gets rid of anxiety. It calms like panic attacks down. This is helping a lot with emotional balance and mastery. This will help you to have more confidence. And then it also increases that sort of energy of like other people outside of you encouraging you and offering you praise and appreciation. So again, if you're in a service industry, might be helpful. It gets rid of kind of obsolete, like old mental patterns or behaviors, things that we have that we're addicted to, like negative thinking, for example, helps us to just ditch that, which is awesome in tandem with a Mercury retrograde, because that's already going to naturally bring those things to the surface. And so this will be like a less chaotic way of dealing with that than like a typical retrograde in tandem with a sodalite stone. This helps you to feel like more trusting in yourself and like what you believe in and like in your ability to do the right thing and to like kind of lay your own path, that sort of thing. It kind of, so like any idealism that you have, like, oh, this is how I want my life to look. Like it grounds it in reality and it like makes those really healthy, because some of us kind of like, it's good to shoot for the stars, but some of us might like overshoot in like a very unrealistic way. This takes any sort of like defensive personalities or tendencies or like also hyperactive ones and just neutralizes them, brings it down a notch, which is awesome. Because if you're less annoying, which I don't think a lot of you are, but I mean, everybody has their own annoying tendencies. This is going to also help, camaraderie. It's going to help with cooperation in group settings. It's going to help you meet goals, like individually and as a team. It gets rid of guilt, control issues, so many things. It aligns all the upper chakras. There's just like so many awesome things with that stone. And so that's your stone of the month, okay? Now, as far as the rest of your reading goes, let's see. What kind of energies do you need to bring into your life to kind of help happiness grow and thrive? And they're saying this is about your spirituality, connecting more to the spirit world, to the spirit realm. So I'm going to see the best way for Cancers to do that this month. Let's see. They're saying for many Cancers, art would usually be the way. Creating music, writing, gardening, even cleaning your house can be art. It's creating something. Typically, that would be the best way for you to do things. However, this month, for some of you, that's still the case. But the rest of you have something different going on. So if you're doing that, you're not like really getting into that flow energy where things just kind of go normally, like you just like get in the zone. If that's not working for you this month, they say, look into palmistry for some of you, like palm reading and stuff like that. A book on that might be like really cool. Okay. And then, how are you going to sustain happiness once you get some? So once you feel these moments of joy this month, how are you going to deal with that? And they say that, the best way for you to do that is kind of remembering that, everything that falls apart, that crumbles, like any drama that happens in our life, it happens for a reason, and it's often for a highest good. Like even if something doesn't feel good, it's for a good reason. It creates something new. And so they say, when things fall apart, this is an opportunity for us to step away from like a toxic situation, from something that we were trying to force to work that wasn't meant to work. And this is going to give us a lot of confidence, especially in a retrograde when things pop up and we're like, oh yeah, I got through that situation just fine. Like that was like total hell in the moment that it happened. But as a result, I'm better for it. Like good things happened as a result, like once I moved past it. And so they're saying like, don't go creating situations that are hard. But kind of framing those things are going to help you to really walk in this happiness and joyful energy. So before I get to your March overall in a nutshell, I forgot to tell you your color energy of the month. And it's important because so your color energy of the month is white, who somebody else had. I can't remember. Aries. So if you have Cancer and Aries in your chart, big thing. So anyway, the number energy here is 24, which is an energy of like things are okay, and they're getting better all the time. And this is thanks to an energy of balance. But with white, it says lighten up. And so white as a color energy, you can wear white. You can eat white chocolate, but you can play in the snow. Just anything surrounding this color is going to help you embrace that. Now, I kind of like to use white through my crown chakra and just like kind of going through my body and sort of picking up any energies that are yucky and then pushing those out my root chakra into the ground to be dissolved. This is a very cleansing energy, but it says underneath here, lighten up. Okay. So with this one, the whole purpose of the white energy is to get rid of any toxicity, to do like this cleansing, this clearing. It's like a cleaning up. White is the color of purity, right? And so things are not pure if they're not clean. So this is going to help us like kind of understand what's going on. You might experience like cleaner, clearer skin if you really embrace this color energy. It represents integrity and truth and also surrender. And so with that Tower card, it's kind of like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'm just going to trust that this is like for a highest good, that I'm just like, tearing it down and rebuilding. And what I rebuild in its place is going to be awesome, whether that's a relationship, a job, like a way of doing things, a mindset, whatever. So with this one, your affirmation is, I give myself permission to lighten up and experience ease in my body and soul. So you're kind of going to want to go through this month with this sort of like, okay, I can handle this. Like a go with the flow type of energy. Okay. Now, what I also wanted to mention though, before we get on to your March in a nutshell, like kind of an overview, is that for you guys, purple tones, lavender, lilac, like, I maybe indigo, even though that's more of a blue, but like violet, royal purple type colors, you're going to want to avoid those. I would even avoid magenta. The reason why is because they are not going to affect you well this month. Purple is a beautiful and very spiritual color, but this month you're going to want to avoid it. So this might not be the month that you really try to decalcify your pineal gland. This might not be the month where you use a lot of amethyst or, you try to really awaken your third eye and like, become more psychic. This is not the month for that necessarily. This is a month where you're going to want to use colors like white and maybe some blue for the communication, which the sodalite obviously totally encompasses. But white is your power color. Very, very much so, more than any other color in the spectrum, even though you might say white is not a color. It's a void of color. But anyway, avoid purples. Now, why do you need to avoid purples? They go, because then you'll miss an opportunity. Like, remember how we started in the reading and they were like, hey, somebody's like going to give you a gift or more tips, like at work, if you're in a service industry, or like an awesome opportunity. Like something's going to come to you that's of material value and you'll miss it maybe if you're using too much purple. Anyway, March overall in a nutshell. They're saying, really there's not like a whole lot of stuff going on here where it's like, oh, well, this is a crisis thing. And like, I really need to make an immediate decision about this and like that. They're like, this is just a month where you totally take control and like dominate your whole life. And like, you look awesome while you do it. Taking control of every situation that you can in your own life, of like the direction of how things go. Might sound a little bit weird when they're saying you're also kind of in this like go with the flow energy, but it's like controlling the things that you can and understanding that everything happens for a reason. Controlling your responses to that makes you look very powerful and in control of things and gives you a lot of confidence, and you're not wrong. This is a month where you find a lot of balance, a lot of work-life balance, where your finances finally come into balance, where you create a schedule for yourself where you have time for your friends now, like that sort of a thing. This is a month where there's a lot of joy and happiness and stability that carries on into April and all the way through the end of April. So awesome for you. I love you so much. See you in April.